I am about to do something completely ridiculous. In May 2009, the game Minecraft was released to the general public. 16 years later, it is a giant of the gaming industry. It is the best-selling game of the 21st century, and I think as recently as 2024, it had 170 million monthly players. It has spawned multiple spin-off games, countless LEGO sets, thousands of YouTube videos, and has launched the career of a new generation of internet creepers. Recently, the franchise extended its reach further than it ever had before. Further than iconic parody songs that rival their originals, further than Twitch streams with epic roleplay battles garnering over 500,000 live viewers. No, this time it would venture into the world of Hollywood. Minecraft's getting a movie, and nobody on the internet is happy about it. I personally am incredibly excited. The more bad press a film gets about its quality prior to its release, the more I want to go and see it. A standout cinematic experience for me was getting wine drunk and watching Cats. I genuinely had a great time. I was more excited for the Sonic films before they redesigned him. I love whimsy, I love laughing, and I love watching overpaid Hollywood producers fail at their one job spectacularly. So yes, I'll be going to see it, and I want to make sure I am as prepared as possible. I've been playing Minecraft ever since my friends bought it for my birthday back in 2015, but as a result of primarily playing on servers and realms, just kind of messing around with my friends, I'm not that knowledgeable about the game or any lore or story it may or may not have. This will not come as a surprise to anyone that's ever watched any of my Twitch streams. Oh! Behind.
Alright.
Oh yeah, I'm done. So I want to study up, and how better to do that than by reading the official Minecraft novels. That's an achievable goal. Right, I mean, it's the 1st of March today, and the film doesn't come out until April, except, you know, there's 22 of them, and factoring in when I want to post this video, this time I'm going to need to edit, I think I'm only going to have just less than 2 weeks. So 22 books over 13 days is a book and a half a day. And I don't read. This video took the combined efforts of all of the 3 rats in my brain to produce, and I'm pretty sure we lost one in the process. So if you enjoy this video, please give it a like, and you know, if you want to see more stuff like this, subscribe. It is the only way the rats are going to get paid. The first book, Minecraft the Island, was published in July 2017 and written by Max Brooks, the guy that wrote World War Z. I guess. This one was difficult. It's written in first person and tells the story of someone from our world who is transported into the world of Minecraft and essentially tells like a fish out of water story. It definitely loses points for being in first person and also dipping into body horror territory with how much it emphasizes a human like us turning into a cube. But it gains points for kind of making real world references every now and again, and also kind of becoming a religion where this book is the Bible, which I thought was quite funny and possibly not intended. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 for the protagonist, 1 out of 5 for the antagonist, since there wasn't one, 2 out of 5 for the plot, because it reads like a narrative tutorial and a parable at the same time, and 2 out of 5 for enjoyment, giving it an impressive 8 out of 20 points in total. Great start.
Meanwhile,
The fucking audiobook for this is narrated by Jack Black. Does that mean that Jack Black is playing the character from The Island? That's insane. What the fuck?
later.
Next up was The Crash. Curious what the title is referencing? Maybe there's like a minecart related incident, or, I mean, there's an Enderman on the cover, so perhaps an end ship is mentioned. No. The title is referencing a horrific car accident that the protagonist is in that kickstarts the plot, puts the protagonist in hospital, and kills her best friend. Light stuff. Plot-wise, this is another story about someone from our world interacting with the Minecraft world, which isn't my favourite premise, but I did like how this one was executed. The protagonist, Bianca, is bedridden in hospital and is introduced to the hospital's Minecraft realm via their VR headsets they have, where people can play with other patients. She spends the book trying to rescue her friend Lonnie, who was in the crash with her, but it's kind of implied throughout and then confirmed at the end of the book that Lonnie is dead and that Bianca isn't really ready to deal with it yet. The crash gets 3s across the board. Like The Island, there wasn't a concrete antagonist, but I liked the glitched out Enderman, reflecting Bianca's emotional state, so it ranks higher than The Island just for the creative use of mobs. It's a sadder story with another protagonist shoots self in foot for 275 pages sort of premise, but the themes of grief and friendship and support kind of stop it from becoming too repetitive or frustrating. The Lost Journals was, and I can't quite believe I'm saying this, a refreshing change of pace. I liked that the story was about people who inhabited the world instead of being from our world. I wasn't as big of a fan of the emotional tone going from like whimsical mischief to mother trauma dumping 3 pages in. I'm all for children's literature exploring darker themes. I was raised on Jacqueline Wilson, and I turned out completely fine. But this book starts with the horribly tragic death of an entire family, the near death of a child that traumatizes the parent, and then makes divorce canon within a matter of minutes. It was a lot to start with. I'm slowly making my way through the Lost Journals. I cannot believe I'm struggling with this as much as I am. I just can't. I'm not the target audience. Overall, I've given the protagonists of Max and Allison 4 out of 5, as I thought they were fun and liked their drive to explore against their overprotective parents' wishes. The antagonists 1 out of 5 because, once again, there really wasn't one. The plot got 3 out of 5, and it also got 3 out of 5 on the enjoyment scale. Perfectly decent book, but another one where I was really struggling to make progress. First check-in, it is Tuesday. I've read 3 books. 3 books, which means I'm already behind, and we have barely started. I've been feeling pretty frustrated with my progress. Honestly, it's really getting to me. I think the fact that I'm struggling is making me struggle more. It's like a cycle, I guess. I keep flicking back over each book and making notes about them. You know, I look back on the lessons in The Island. They don't just have to apply to kids, really. I've been taking the mick out of this book, but I could really learn a thing or two from it. With that in mind, the next few days and the next few books came a lot easier. The end was insane. Seriously. Mojang told the author to write like a short story about Minecraft, and then she ended up writing the Minecraft equivalent of what Dune is to sci-fi. Did you guys know that the Endermen celebrate Christmas and it's called Endermas? It loses a few points simply because there were so many new terms invented to cover end culture that I kept forgetting, but honestly it kind of added to the insanity. 14 out of 20. The Voyage rehashes the fish out of water concept again here, with Stax Stonecutter, Minecraft Nepo Baby #1, discovering the life and beauty of the world around him after essentially getting kidnapped away from the cushy home his family built. A bit dry, but still a decent road trip-esque story. 9 out of 20. The Rise of the Ark-Illager is a prequel to the official Minecraft Dungeons game and gives the backstory to one of the first antagonists that you encounter. Having never played Minecraft Dungeons, I think I kind of missed some references and allusions to characters that you meet in the game, but it's a pretty cut and dry protagonist gets bullied into being an antagonist story, but it's interesting to see that done in Minecraft, so there's that. 12 out of 20. The Shipwreck introduces readers to one of the true horrors of humanity, Los Angeles. That's right, we're back with one of our real-world protagonists. My favourite. Around now, I was starting to struggle with the formulaic narrative structures of these stories, like, a lot. You know, here I was, the sun shining, surrounded by books about one of my favourite video games, complaining. There had to be something about this book I could enjoy. And there was, actually. The protagonist of this story, Jake, finds an old Minecraft server on a computer in the apartment block's community centre, and it's full of like cryptic riddles and mysteries he's got to solve before the community centre gets bulldozed. It dips its toes into ARG territory, and for that, I'm pretty grateful. 9 out of 20. The mountain reunites us with our old friend, the protagonist from the island, as they venture further into the world of Minecraft, exploring new biomes, meeting new people, and discovering the concept of gender. I was eager to see what lessons this biblical sequel had in store for me, only to learn that they were all themed around friendship. This was useless to me, as if the video concept as a whole hasn't given it away already, I have no friends. 10 out of 20. The How to Train Your Dragon Minecraft crossover that nobody asked for. Feeds into my delusions that I can just tame the Ender Dragon so I never have to fight it, which just leads to disappointment. 6 out of 20. Another real-world story, but this time it's not set in the US. Hooray for variety. In this story, a small child is unwittingly introduced to 2B2T and has to complete the Gauntlet of Shar in order to play Minecraft with her best friend. Has nobody told these kids about realms? You don't have to play on griefing servers. 10 out of 20. 5 Nights at Freddy's. The first in a trilogy centered about, you guessed it, zombies. Villager Bobby, together with adventurer Ben, travel to the overworld in search of a cure that will turn Johnny, Bobby's little brother, back into a human after a zombie bite. Oh, and like, Johnny is with them the whole time on a lead. It's a fun story with a cliffhanger ending, and actually had a proper antagonist for once. 14 out of 20. I'm gonna be honest, at this point I was losing my mind. It was almost the second weekend, and I still had 10 more of these books to go. I couldn't stop thinking about the stories I'd already read, and it was all muddling together. So I took a leaf out of Minecraft Jesus' book, and took a break. After taking the rest of the day off, I started Saturday with a focused mind and a clear vision. And thank God, because it's Saturday, and it's time for Castle Redstone. Let's go. Castle Redstone tells the story of Minecraft Nepo baby number 2, Raja, who wants to have his own adventure out of the shadow of his father's legacy. This book really tries to make a sympathetic character out of someone that refers to generational wealth as hand-me-downs and is literally referred to as Sir. They're not super successful. Eat the rich. 6 out of 20. The P.T. Barnum of Minecraft wants to fill his zoo with all the freaks the Minecraft world has to offer, and a terrifying piglin called Great Bungus wants to invade the overworld over it. Fair. Gets points for having a tangible antagonist instead of just, woo, the concept of self-doubt. 11 out of 20. The second Zombies installment does the unforgivable and destroys Pig Step. 9 out of 20. It's Saturday evening and I've only read 3 books today. I just finished Zombies Return. I'm so anxious that I'm gonna fall behind and not hit my deadline. I'm streaming tomorrow night, so I have to leave time for that. I really need to be done by like Wednesday afternoon at the latest. I've really been giving myself a hard time over it, but like, what am I talking about? Only read 3 books today. Only read 3 books today. I think that's more books than I read in total last year. I think I need to be kinder to myself. I'm almost there. We can do this. Woo! In the final installment of Max Brooks' trilogy, the protagonist references George Bush and the Iraq War and then Stuart Little within pages of each other. So the references are still going strong. The lessons from this book had some surprisingly anti-capitalist and anti-monarchy tones, which I really enjoyed. Here are some of my favourites. Lesson 4. It's not the money that's evil, just what people might do for it. And lesson 15. Even a good king is a bad idea. Nice. 15 out of 20. In The Outside, Jeremy, a resident of the biggest and safest city in the overworld, craves adventure and embarks on a quest to solve the mystery of a new kind of zombie lurking outside the city walls. The adventure takes a bit of a turn when he and his new friend Valder uncover a web of corporate white-collar crime and ecocide that's endangering indigenous communities. There's no punchline here. This book is actually kind of a banger. 15 out of 20. The tournament sees a father-son duo compete in off-brand Minecraft championships to raise funds for their chosen non-profit. It's another real-world concept, so it's already losing points there, but this is the only one so far that's gotten a 5 out of 5 for the protagonists. I really liked reading about them, they felt very real, and I was rooting for them the whole time. 13 out of 20. The finale of the Zombies trilogy wraps up the story in a surprisingly happy way. I was really expecting Bobby's little brother to not turn back as some sort of life lesson, but no, it ends quite nicely. Maybe I've watched Shaun of the Dead too many times. 11 out of 20. It is Tuesday evening, and I've just finished Zombies Unleashed. Feeling pretty good about myself. But guess what just arrived? Mob Squad's here. I had ordered them separately and kind of forgotten all about them in the midst of all of the chaos. I thought it was done. And now, if I want to hit my deadline, I'm gonna have to read this entire trilogy basically in one day tomorrow. I was gonna make a tick list of all the books so I could keep track of them as I read them, but I just kind of forgot and I wanted to get started and crack on with reading. I'm regretting that now. Let's go! The Mob Squad trilogy follows a group of friends who live in peace and safety, who crave adventure. Wait, I swear to God we've heard that already. Anyway, their drive to explore irritates their overprotective parents. No, I've definitely said that before. As you'd expect, they leave their home and discover the beauty and life of the world around them. No, this is definitely getting repetitive now. Beyond the somewhat repetitive nature of some of the tropes explored in these books, Mob Squad was a fun series to read, though I'll be honest, perhaps just because I get the reference in the third book's title, I fully expected Nan to die. I think the earlier books just made me think that everyone's going to die all the time. They get an 11, 8, and 12 out of 20. And that's it. I'm done. I am free from this prison of my own creation. And beyond just reading a load of books, I really feel like I've learnt a lot about myself. When I was younger, I used to read books at this sort of rate all the time. I guess I'd kind of just thought I'd lost it. I mean, it wasn't easy, but I did it. I went into this thinking it would be like a funny vlog where a grown-ass adult tries to read a load of kids' books. But it's actually been quite nice to break out of my own digital echo chamber and absorb content that wasn't necessarily made for me. And this first book, with all of its preachy lessons and parables, ultimately was just as pertinent to me as it would be for a child. I didn't want to admit how I felt reading about new lands and creatures that might very well exist beyond my narrow horizon. It brought me back to the memory of pulling those old leather boots out of the ocean, and how I'd suddenly felt a whole lot smaller. That's why, for all my supposed celebration, I still couldn't ingest the true value of my discovery. Books make the world bigger. Don't really know what all that's going to do with the movie, though. Oh, thank God that's over. I don't think I'm going to be able to read a book for a while after that. Maybe I should just watch a movie and